Hey everyone, my name's Carolyn Weaver and I'm here with Blossoming Heart Studio today live on Facebook, and I'll be posting this video on some other places as well, like YouTube. I'm going to try to start putting them up on YouTube. So if you're not a big Facebook fan but you would like to still watch our videos, you can subscribe to Blossoming Heart Studio on YouTube as well now. But I am in the process of doing that. And so anyway, welcome today. I'm glad that you're here. We're going to be doing a painting of an angel in acrylic paint. And I just wanted to show you what the picture that I did last year of that looked like. It ended up being a really popular class last year before all the shutdown and everything. And anyway, and I just felt like it would be a good one to do today. I'm going to be changing it up a little bit, so I feel like I'm supposed to. But as you get on, please let us know that you're here. Put some comments in the comment boxes. If you like the video, please be sure to share it with other people as well. So let's get started. So last year, this was a design that we painted, and the original was painted on wood. So it actually was a long panel that we did. We're going to be doing this on canvas today, so it's going to be a little different. And I'm also going to be making the background a little bit different, and probably some features of the angel as well. So in this one, we had the angel highlighting the blues with the blue flowers. Just some other ideas of things you might want to do, because as you know, I love people being creative and using your own ideas in your paintings. So some of the other ideas that people did, sometimes people did like a sword in an angel's hand. Some made their angels look more like a male angel or a female angel, depending on what they wanted. I had one that had keys in the hands, representing keys to the kingdom. My hair's going everywhere. It's funny. Anyway, so there's lots of different things that you could put on your picture of your angel if you'd like to. And anyway, I'm going to get started with our supplies like I normally do, so you'll have those available. And there is a supply list that's always posted on our page. If you ever need to go back to that to find our supply list, it's there. So acrylic paints, I just usually, for these classes, have been using basic colors. So that means like your primary colors like red, blue, and yellow, and then secondary colors purple, green, and orange, white, and black. I probably won't be using orange today, and maybe not green, but that's totally up to you. You can make your angel whatever color you want. You could even do rainbows around it if you want to. It's really up to you. Again, I also love it if you share your pictures with us. I think it's just really encouraging for other people to see other people's artwork. A lot of times people feel intimidated about that they don't think theirs is as good as somebody else's. But really, it's the creative process that we're after. It's not being a perfectionist or having a perfect painting or anything like that. It's more of the process. So relax, take a deep breath, and enjoy that process today. So we're going to be having the basic paint colors like we normally do. You'll need a glass of water. You'll need to have paintbrushes. Usually I just stick to very simple paintbrushes like a wide flat brush, and I can show those to you. I only pulled 3 out today. A wide flat brush, a small round brush, and a much smaller round brush, just like a real brush for details. And then I also have a plate to put the paint on, and I have an eraser and a pencil. So anyway, so those are just our colors that we have, and I have not put out my colors yet, so I'm just going to put a little bit of my background color in here, so I kind of know what I want to do for that. And again, you can make this however you want. And the one over here, I started with the one back behind me. I started with a light gray as the background, and then I added colors into that. Today, I just felt like I actually wanted to start with like a black background to give a lot of contrast with this angel. So you may want to change it up and do it differently. And you can do these classes however you want to as well. You could do a watch party with other people of your friends and paint together. You can use these at a Christmas party maybe. I know a lot of people aren't getting together as far as in the physical, but you could even do that together as your friends online. So just be open about that. But the goal of our parties, as you're getting your supplies set up, you might also want something to cover your clothes on the table. The goal of our classes is to connect with the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, to connect with God. And we do that through the artistic process and inviting him to come. So I also love to hear if there's any thing that he showed you or anything you got out of the class regarding that. And I'll also be sharing that as well as I go through the class and as I finish up. So some people call that kind of prophetic painting. That also could mean painting a picture that you see that the Lord's given you. These are guided though, so I'll be guiding you through this process. It's a little different. So anyway, I love working with lots of different groups, and I have been working still with an organization in our town called Switch, which helps to rescue women out of sex trafficking. And I actually get to go there tomorrow, which is why I had to switch the class around to today. So I'm really excited about getting in there with the ladies tomorrow and painting with them. But just know our heart is to connect people with the Lord. So we're going to get started and see what happens, okay? So what I'm going to do first is I want to basically know about where I want my angel to be. In the other one, I had a lot of long space, and I don't have so much of that on the canvas. Now I just have a panel canvas today that I'm going to do that on. So I'm going to start about, I want a little space for the wings to be able to come up. So I'm going to start about maybe a fifth of the way down on that canvas, if you can imagine that into 5 parts. About a fifth of the way down, right in the middle. Just going to put a little line so you can see. Generally, when I'm sketching things out ahead of time to draw, you want to make sure it's very light, but I will make it darker for you, and I can see that y'all cannot see my canvas at all, so I'm going to make sure that I have that on camera, and I am not. So hopefully y'all can see that good. No? Alright, the light's a little bit bright behind me, so I'm going to try one thing with the lighting. See if this will help. Does that help a little bit to see? Maybe slightly. Alright, so again, you want to keep your sketch light, but mine is going to appear darker because I'm trying to make sure that you can see it. So all that I'm going to do right here is just an oval. And it doesn't need to be, in fact, let me just go ahead and put where the bottom of the oval is going to be, because it's not going to be huge. That way I have a starting and a bottom point. So I'm just going to make a curved line down, and then a curved line over here, down. Okay. Now, whenever you're trying to draw people, a lot of people say, people say, that people are really difficult to draw because it's hard to get the proportions. And that can be true, but I'm going to show you just real simply how to get the basic person of this angel down here. So I'm just wondering if maybe my head is slightly too big because of the body space. Let me go a little bit smaller. My lines are going to be seen more because I made it so dark. That's okay. How about we do it like this? I'm just looking over there. I'm like, that's going to be a little bit too big. So I'm going to make my head a little smaller. Can y'all see where that head's really going to be right there? So then on the person's neck, a lot of people think of a person's neck being really thin, but they're really not. Usually if you had ears over here on the sides, your neck would actually be right below your ears. So the neck is actually very thick. So I'm going to make it just right as that circle comes in. The neck's going to come out. Does that make sense? Okay, so ignore this other line down here. There's our head. Here's our neck. I can always adjust this more whenever I put the paint down. So I may, make it a little smaller as far as the face whenever I do that. So I'm going to come down, make a curved line for the shoulders. Now normally I get to, if I'm doing my own painting, I get to stand in front of my canvas, but I don't get to do that on here. I'm at an angle, so it might not turn out as good as yours, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so and then the arms, they just basically come down. Now, if you want them to be holding a sword, then you might make them a little bit different angle. Or maybe, I just got an idea. So I think I'm going to do something completely different on this one, but they're still going to be holding something. So I'm going to bring my arms together. So have it come down, and then I'm going to have the arm come in. And I totally just had an idea, which is awesome. Okay. I think I'm going to have to adjust those arms a little bit more. So, that's okay. So I have the angel part there, and then the body part just literally is going to come down in a flowing robe on either side. And it's going to kind of disappear. Okay. Angel wings are up at the head, so we just want to kind of know where they're going to be at. Curved line comes to a more, almost like a point at the top, of the point's curved, and then it just comes down and right off the canvas. I didn't make that dark enough. Let me show you again. I'm going to keep what my angel is going to be holding a secret for now. And later I will share it with you, because I'll be painting it. Flowers are really easy if you do want to do flowers, by the way. Just it's a little simpler. Okay, and then I have another wing over here coming down. Again, that'll have a lot more form as I get into it. Okay. Now, again, the one that I did that was back here, I started with gray. This one, I'm going to be starting with black. I just want to do something a little different. So, just going to have the black that's on here. You can start with a different color. You don't have to do black as your background. This is my flat brush too that I'm using, just in case you're wondering. It's a big flat brush. If you're in the Greenville, South Carolina area and you have children, I will be doing a painting class for kids next week, and we're going to do a nativity. I'm really excited about it. Last year we did the Three Wise Men, and it turned out really, really well. So, and if you're an adult and you want to come and paint in that class, you're welcome to. I just have it set aside for the kids next week. But it's actually going to be a really beautiful painting that we do. And if you live in the area, I know so many places are still shut down, but I have been doing classes. So I do have had some in-person classes that I've been doing, and I do parties and things like that, or church groups. Obviously, that's not been happening as much, but we have been being careful and using masks if we need to, and distancing and all that. So if you're interested, please let me know. Again, if I go over a little bit of the angel or the wings or whatever, I'm going to be adding in a lot of color in a minute, so I'll just need to make sure that my background is somewhat dried. Otherwise the black will try to mix in with it, but I think we'll have plenty of time. I do have some gold and some silver today. That's not one of the primary colors or secondary colors, but I just thought it would be fun to put that on an angel. So if you happen to have those colors, that'd be awesome. If not, you could also use yellow for the golds. And we could use a gray for the silver. It wouldn't be shiny, but you could still use it. And I don't think I quite have enough swoosh in this wing over here, so I'm going to add a little more. Come in a little more. I'm also going to add a little bit of black just right down at the very bottom where that wing comes in, because it's going to be kind of a clash between the white, the dark and the light. So I'm just going to add a little bit of black down here. Remember, as you're doing this, maybe even get in a quiet space where you can be alone and just listen as you're painting. See what the Lord speaks to your heart. It's great to see some new people on here today. I'd love to hear where you're from too. If you want to comment in the box, that's awesome. I'd love to know where you're from. And also, if you have any questions while I'm painting about anything regarding the painting, please feel free to ask. I tried to look back and catch them, so that'd be awesome. All right, so I have the background as far as that part of it. But I am not done with that background by any means. We'll have a lot of other stuff coming in there in a few minutes. So I want to give that a chance just to dry just a little bit. Okay? And we're going to work on the color of the skin. Now, you can go to a store and you can buy like a flesh colored. It makes it a lot easier. Sometimes flesh tones are a little bit difficult to do, but you can make this angel darker tone skin, lighter tone skin, whatever you want to do with it. I'm going to start with, since I'm only using my basic colors, I'm going to mix one, okay? So I'm going to start with a white, and then I'm going to add very small amounts of yellow and red to that. And I'm going to see if I can get a good little flesh tone. We'll see what happens. I do have my backup if I need it, but I'm going to try to do it this way. Let's get a little bit of red right here. You're welcome to use whatever colors you want. I just have kept it simple because of supplies. People are watching from all over, and I don't know what kind of supplies you can get, so that's why I've kept it that way. Alright, so I just added like a very, very teeny bit of white, and actually more white A little bit of red, very small amount of yellow. I don't want it to look orangey. I want it to be like a flesh tone. You can darken it up if you even have some brown you want to add in there. Brown would be a good color to add, but again, you only want just a little bit. That actually made quite a nice little flesh tone. Just depends the ratio of the yellow that you put in and the ratio of the red. Oops, I added a little bit too much red. You can kind of see my mixing here, okay? I went back and I added way too much red. So, I'm going to do a lot of white back in there. So I can get it back down to that fleshy tone. I was doing a good job and then I just picked up too much of one color. More yellow. Getting close again. A little bit more yellow. Mixing colors is one of my favorite things to do, so. Alright. I got back to a nice flesh tone. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do that part of the angel in. It's just the flesh tone. Again, you might want to make yours a darker flesh tone, lighter, it doesn't really matter. Whatever is what you want to do. So I have the basic head. I'm going to go on the neck. Go ahead and bring that down. It may take a couple of layers to cover up that line too, so that's why I'm going ahead and doing this. And then it'll have like the shirt or the gown of that. I didn't really draw that in, but I'm going to paint it in. Okay. Alright, and I'm going to go for the arms over here. So, I'm not quite sure how I want to do the hands yet, so I'm just going to wait on that for a minute. I have an idea, but I'm still formulating it in my head. Usually the top part of the arm is larger than the bottom. But it's all curved lines meeting. You have your elbow. I think for now I'm just going to have the hands just, I'm not doing a lot of detail on this, okay? So I'm just going to have the hands meeting. Like that, because they're going to be holding something. So I just have them meeting. And then I'll show you what they're holding in a minute. Okay. Okay. Now, I said I may have to go over that a couple times, and that's okay. Now that the background's getting a little dry, I'm going to add in a little color on the background. So, I'm going to put some purple on my plate. some white. A little bit more white. Okay. So I'm just gonna put, I'm trying to think of how I want to do it. Okay, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to do first. I'm gonna go ahead and cover in initially the body with the white and get some white in the angel wings. And then I'm gonna come back in and add some color, because that way that dark will still dry a little bit more. So I'm just gonna give me a base of white over that. And I'm using the smaller round brush. Not the smallest, just the brown brush now, not the flat brush any longer. And I'm sorry I didn't say that. I also used that for the face and the arms. So just an initial coat of white. Then we'll come back in and add all those details. And get a shirt at the top of it. Again, we'll be going back over this a few times, so I'll get that basic. You know, the word says that the Lord God made the angels, us a little lower than the angels. And honestly, I love the angels' interaction in our lives. They're his messengers, his helpers, and they love interacting with us. There's a lot of times that I have had those angels watching over me and protecting me and kept me. I think that used to be an old Amy Grant song, Angels Watching Over Me Every Move I Make. Guess that shows my age there a little bit. Though I never see with human eyes the hands that lead me home. And sometimes we do get to see with human eyes. put a little more white on my plate. I'm running out of that. Okay, so I have the base coat down of white, and I have the flesh color, and then I have the black out here. So, what I want to do though, on the background, is go ahead and work in some colors into where that black is. And even on the angel wings, they're going to be a lot more feathery than what I've made them look right here so far. So, I just want to start adding in some white to the background a little bit. But I'm not wanting it to blend a whole lot. So even on those wings, I'm going to bring some white off the edges of the wings. Just doing little strokes. Very light strokes, lifting the brush a lot. On the other one that I did, did a totally different technique on the background, but I don't know, it just felt like this one is going to be more almost like I'm going in the direction of those wings and coming out from the angel itself with the light. So notice as I'm coming around there, I've got the same type of motion, that angel wing. And do the other side over here. Again, just kind of coming around with that same motion. You can do a completely different type of background if you want. It's up to you. You see how it did pick up a little bit of the black, but that's okay, because I really do want to start making that wing really look like it's coming right off of there. I'm going to add some white in the bottom. Again, just little strokes. I'm not covering that black completely, okay? I want to be able to see some of that still there, but I am just making little white lines over it. Some of it, not all of it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and now, explain one thing. So over on this other picture, I had a lot of teal color. So that's basically blue mixed in with some yellow. Over here on this plate, I have straight blue. I'm gonna mix it with some white to make it into a lighter blue. And I am gonna add just a little yellow just because I like that color a lot. But you can use whatever color you want. If you want straight blue, you can. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that just to make it really flowy. And I'm using the same brush, okay? But I want some of that color to be in the sky as well. And I'm gonna put some of that into the angel. And even into the angel wings. See how I'm just adding a little bit of the blue tones in there. When I think of angels, I feel like I know some of them, usually I think of white or whatever, but I think a lot of them hold a lot of color. You know, there's a rainbow around the throne of God, and I think they hold a lot of color too. Don't know that for sure. But in my mind's eye, that's how I see it. I'm just doing some swishes in the wings. Coming up here, got some of that blue. Again, my idea is a little different than the original that I did before. I think every time you do something, it's probably going to change some, and that's okay. Again, I still want there to be some of that black behind there. I don't want to lose that completely, so. If I get too heavy on the color, which I probably will a little bit, I'll just come back in and add more white to there. but I want there to be some depth to the wings. I'm still just going with the shape of it. Gonna add that into the bottom down here too, as it comes up. And a little bit more down here. Okay. I also really liked the purple color, so I'm going to add a little bit of that in as well. Again, I'm lightening up just a little bit because the purple I have here is really super dark. So just adding in some white to the purple. Same thing, same brush, just adding in a little bit the purple highlights with it. Okay, so I got a lot of color now going on in here. I know it looks probably like a little bit of a mess to you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my brush and I'm going to come over this background with the wet brush a little bit to kind of soften that a little. Just water, not anything else, and just the background. Just to soften it up, blend it in a little bit better. And I'm probably going to come in and also add just a little bit of black to that still. Not too much water, just going over it a little bit. One that's going to help keep it a little wetter. Yeah, there's still had some black in there. Okay. I don't want to mix it all together because if I do, I'll just end up with a gray. But most of that's dried enough now. So I'm just literally just blending it a little bit. But if you notice on the bottom, I'll start to get gray, starting to get more gray. That's because it's just blending in together more. So I'm going to add a little bit more white down here. And as it comes up into that wing, same thing over the angel himself. Going to be adding in more white. And I'm really going to keep blending this back and forth until I get it the way that I want it. Okay. Before I get to really going into the outfit, I want to come back in with a little bit more white into the background of the sky. Smaller strokes. Just give it a little bit more definition. I'm going to make sure I do more of that over here. Now I'm going to come in on those wings more with the white. And that'll blend out some of that color as well a little bit more. Just using a little bit smaller stroke with that. If you want to switch over to the smallest brush you have, you can do that as well. Gonna add a little water, keep it nice and blendy. Some of this up here to blend it in better. So I want to still see the color behind that, but just not, I want it to be more subtle. Then as it's coming off of that angel, it's like it's just bursting into the darkness. That's kind of the effect that I'm trying to get. making sense? Can you see how that's blending in better now? I'm gonna hold it up a little bit to the camera just so you can see the difference in what I just did with the one wing and the other wing. So I'm gonna be going over the other one now. And just with white and the water, adding a little water in just to keep it nice and flowy. I think this side's blending a little bit better than the other side did, so I'll probably come back over that one more time. Just to match it up a little bit more. I really like how that's looking. It's okay if you get a little texture with your paint too. So I think that just adds to it. Yeah, I'm liking how that's turning out on this side. So we're going to go over this other side with a little bit more water. May even add a little more color in there. Blue. Okay. Don't want to change it too much more than the other one. It just got a little bit of the darker. Blend that in more. There we go. Well, that's more like I wanted it. Like I said, I'm good if there's a little bit of the white even adding some texture to it. Look at those beautiful angel wings. Very happy with this. Okay. Just have a little bit more color in the other wings, so go back over that with the white, blend it in. Again, I'm basically just using white and water, adding a little bit of color in and just blending it until I get it the way that I want it. Strokes going in the directions of the wings, coming back in with that white. Okay, I'm gonna finish off his outfit down here. See, that's where I started with the outfit and the wings, and that's where I've gotten with the blending. So I need to go over the outfit the same way. Water and white. Just pull those colors up into the gown. So I'm doing like upward motions. If you want to add more color into it, you can. Now it's all blended up into there. Just go over that shoulder a little bit better right there. Just the white. Okay. Now I basically have the body of the angel. I'm going to go back in and add some with the very small brush that's round. But since I have my silver and my gold and all that, I'm going to go back in and just add some flecks of that in there. I just want one that's even a little bit smaller if I can find one, but I don't see one, so I'll go with that. So I've got some silver here. If I can get some out. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna come and get a little bit of the silver. I'm gonna add a little bit into the night sky, just hints of it. Just little bitty hints of it. That's why I'm using the small brush. If you have a light on hitting your canvas, you'll be able to see it show up. Not a lot, just a little throughout there. And I may even come back in and hit that with a little bit of gold. think you're gonna get where I'm going in a few minutes whenever I'm finishing this up. Just those little flecks still coming out. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little bit of that into the wings. Again, just little flecks of the gold, silver here and there. Don't want to overdo it. Real light. I think the finer the better, but because of the way that my brush is hitting it from the angle that I'm having to paint at, it's hitting it from the side a little bit too much. So that's why I'm not able to get just the really thin little lines. I'm trying to move in front of it a little bit more. Is everyone good? Anybody have any questions? All right, see, everybody's hanging with me. That just added also just a little more definition to the angel wing. Do the same thing over here. Just little lines in there of the silver. A little more, put it right there. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing down at the bottom, just a little bit in the outfit. It's looking pretty good to me. So that's how I am doing so far. And then I'm going to come back in now and I'm going to redo that skin color one more time. We'll be adding on the hair and all that good stuff. And then what I had thought of for the middle. So let me go back. I'm going to have to remix a little bit of this just because the other dried up real well. And so again, I'm just adding a little bit of red, very tiny bit of red, yellow, and white to get my skin tone. think I'm about at the same place I was before, which is good. Okay, so I'm just going to go back over this one more time. Actually, I think I had maybe a little bit more red in that other color. It was a little darker than the second time around. Let's get that better. Okay, I think I got it. It's hard to do it exactly, and plus it's already dried, but it's pretty close. If you mix a color and you can keep it, that's, like put some plastic over it or something so it doesn't dry out. That's even better. Sometimes trying to remix it is a little hard. Okay, but that's pretty close, especially when it dries. Or just use a pre-mixed one if you have access to that. It's even easier. Then you know you're always going to get the same color. Now, I'm going to come in just a second and just highlight the bottom of that neck a little bit just so it'll stand out. I'm still using the small brush. That's a real small one just because of trying to get back over these lines. I don't want to mess that up. So I hope you're liking what you're getting. And that also helps me get over this shoulder up here where I caught it with a little bit of the white. Okay, just fill in right there where the hands are at. They're meeting together. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and first of all, before I do anything else, I'm going to catch just a little bit of the bottom of this neck right here. So I'm just going to, you can even use brown, or you could just darken up your color a little bit more. I'm just going to use just a touch of a little bit of black on the end of my brush if I can get it. Okay. Just a touch. And I'm just going to outline right there under the neck. Just a touch. Black's not really my favorite color. On my brush and we'll get this evened out a little bit. Just to show where that face is at. Just like a little shadow on the neck. That's all I'm going for. Pick up that neck color again and bring it back up there. You see how little bit of black I used, and yet how much it shaded in. Like you have to be so careful with it because it can overpower it in a second. But made a nice little shade for my neck. That way it doesn't look like the head just rolled right into the body. My daughter's laughing at me. Okay. And if you want to, you can add shading in on other parts of the body, like on the arm if you want, maybe on the bottom of the arm, sides of the arm. If you want to go into that detail, you can, okay? Totally up to you. Now, I'm going to use some, did I have it over here? Yeah. I'm going to use some brown as the base of the hair, but I'm also going to use yellow and gold for the hair. So I've got some brown. And I've got some yellow. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of mix those together and see what I get. I think I'm going to go straight with the brown first, and then I'll add a little yellow. I didn't care for how that mixed. Okay, see. So I'm just going to bring down on the head some of this brown color that I just made. Meaning I had a brown, but I added in a little bit of yellow to it. Just a little. The other one had too much. And I'm just going to add in some longer hair on this one. I have that thin brush again. If it feels, I want it to be real flowy, so I might need to add water to it. But I'm going to make a little light strokes. Thin strokes. Okay? See, I'm just going around the head. You could make yours have curly hair if you want. Straight, black, whatever color you want to do. It's totally up to you. I want to see that it's curling down on the shoulders. Notice I'm covering up part of the top of the head. Normally whenever you do heads of people or angels, about a third of the top of the head is covered with hair. So that's why I'm coming in so much on that. Okay, come along that baseline, the neck. You can have it go longer if you want to. I will be adjusting this a good bit. Making sure it's covered in. got more brown on my plate. You could have an angel with bangs if you want. Mine's not going to have bangs. Mine's just going to be a part. I'm just having it kind of flip up at the very end. I've had some people in the classes want to put a face on the angel. That's up to you. If you want to do that, you can. But I really like these that have the faceless. So I'm going to leave mine that way. Just making sure I've got that covered up well, so you can't see where the black is meeting the tan underneath. And do one big swipe here. There we go. Sometimes it's easier to do that. Okay. Now, I'm going to come back in with a little bit of my yellow. Just add some little hairs to that. Because he's an angel after all, or she, so we'll have the golden light coming in the hair. Okay, so there I have some golden highlights. I'm going to hold it up again closer so you can see. All right. And you can smooth that out more if you want to. I'm also going to take now the gold that I have. And I'm just going to add some of that into the hair. A little bit. Well, gotta open it. Okay. Some little glimmers of gold through the hair. You can add as much or as little as you want. I like how the gold's looking on there, so I'm just adding a little bit more. Okay. So I think I'm pretty much done with that part. I'm going to add in a few hints of gold into the wings and into the background again. So let me start with the background, just a little here and there. And then I'm going to get to that last part. You might not like the gold, you might want to stay with the silver, or you might have a totally different painting scheme in the background. Color scheme, I should say. That's totally fine. Okay, now I'm just going to come into the wings and add a little bit into the wings. Just hints of it here and there. Again, if you get too much, you can always go back in, add a little white. I have one area right here I'm going to hit back with the white. Got a lot happening in this painting, but I'm really liking it. Now what I'm doing now, after I put some gold in, I'm just hitting it with a little bit more white down here at the bottom. Just felt like it needed a little more. I mean, you can keep going back and forth with this all day if you wanted to, but I've just kind of gotten a little bit lost in it today, which is neat. I like it whenever I really focus and get into my painting. All right, so that middle part that I've been making you wait for. So can you see? Does everyone see that? How that's turned out? Good bit different than the other one over here, but same idea, same style. Okay, so what the Lord has been emphasizing to me, especially this last week, has been that Jesus came as the light of the world. And no matter how dark the darkness is, no matter how evil it is. In fact, whenever he came, it was one of the darkest, evilest times in history. The Jews were being extremely oppressed by the Roman government, and the Roman government was pretty much ruling the known world at the time. And the darkness was very dark. But yet, at the right moment in time, God sent the light. And the light dispersed the darkness. And that's why I wanted to put the black as the background on this one this time. To really emphasize that the light came into the darkness. So, I thought about doing like a candle. But I want it to be even more than that. Because it's like the light just burst into the darkness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with yellow. And again, you can do whatever you want. You could do little flowers if you want. You could do a sword. However you want your angel to look. Or if you don't want them to hold anything at all. They could have their arms open wide. But for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple light. But it's going to be like he's holding light. Almost like he's holding the star. Let's do it like that. And we're just going to have light just coming all off of that. And I think about even in our day and time when it seems like so many things are dark and so many things are evil and so many, people have had some really rough things happen in their lives this year. And yet even at our darkest moments, Jesus comes as the light. He comes to bring light in our life. So I'm just adding in some white in the middle. I got the basic shape of a star there. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to have some fun with it. We're going to have some light coming out right from all around it. Or maybe you're going through a really dark time right now. And you need the light of Jesus to come and illuminate that. I just pray that is what you experience this Christmas season. That his joy and his light and his love will just penetrate your darkness, wherever you're at. That he'll bring you out of that into the light of life. I know there's been some really dark places that I've had to walk through. But whenever he showed up, he's always changed it. He's always brought the light of life right there in the middle of it. I was even thinking about the shepherds that are out in the field, the angels didn't come to the wealthy or the ones that had it all together. He showed himself first to shepherds in a field. Some historians say that the shepherds normally were women, were girls. So you think about that the possibility that he even came to women in a field. First, and revealed himself there first. It kind of blows your mind how much he loves us. I'm just coming back in with some gold. Add some gold out here and those big bright bursts. That's why I was making the light come off of the angel like it was. He is the light of the world. Just add a little bit more of the white just to burst it out there. There's no place too dark he can't go, or that he won't go. The darkness is as light to him. He knit you together in your mother's womb. He knows you from the foundation of the earth. And he loves you. And that's why he came. To bring us back to our Heavenly Father. And I think I'm done. So, I hope you all enjoyed the painting class today. Love for you to be able to share this with your friends or people that you love. Maybe you even just made a Christmas present for someone today. So it's been a joy of mine to be here with you, and I just bless you all to have a beautiful and wonderful Christmas season where you celebrate the birth of Jesus, who is the light of the world. So bless you all. Love you. Bye-bye.